Hey guys, wanted to show you my workbench that I built. I wanted something that could hold my table saw, my miter saw, and my router. So let me walk you through what I did. On this side is my table saw. So normally when all that stuff isn't on the table and it's flat, it acts as a feed table. So I made it so the table saw is level with the rest of the table, so I can just cut it and feed it through there and not have to worry about having someone on the other end to hold the board as it goes through. Next is I wanted something, since I needed the flat surface for the table saw and for just any other projects where I wanted a flat surface, I wanted to make it so I could stow the miter saw underneath the table, and when I'm ready to use it, I can unlock it and flip it, and then it's on top, and I'll show you that in just a second. And then the third piece of equipment is my router, which is basically just like any routing table but built into the end here, so it can be an all-in-one table. And I'll show you how that works in a second too. Alright, one of my favorite features of the table is the T-track system. You can see I kind of have a bunch of accessories here, and I'll kind of show you how some of those work. So these little guys are called bench cookies. They have this grippy material on top. So if you're working on something that you want suspended up off the table, you can move these around, put them where you want. Let's say this is a piece of wood or something. You can set it on top, and it holds it above the table like that, which is nice when you're working on some things and you just want it up off the table. And then if you're painting or staining something, they have these little adapters that you can put on, that they have a sharp, see if you can see that, a sharp point on top. So say you painted one side of this piece of wood and you want to flip it over and paint the other side, you can put it on top of these like that, and it basically doesn't ruin the paint or stain job on the other side. And then over here they have these stop kits and different types of clamps you can buy. So if you wanted to get this, push this up against this stop kit like that. I'm not going to get it perfect because I'm only working with one hand, but you can get it pushed up against those stop kits, and then you can clamp it down so that it's not moving anywhere like that. So a lot of these accessories can work together, which is nice. They have all kinds of clamps and stop kits and various things you can buy, but this is what I thought would be most useful to me. And I tried to run the T-track all over, so no matter where I'm trying to work, I can clamp things down and have them up off the table on these bench cookies. Just tried to make it as flexible as possible. Alright, so this is the saw flipped upside down. So obviously if I'm working with wood, I'd have all these accessories off the table, but I basically made it so that this is the same level as the table, kind of like the bench saw is level. This is level 2, so I can set a piece of wood on it. This is a little over 8 feet, so it'll hold pretty much anything I want to cut on it. Again, without me having to have something else holding it, the piece of wood on the other end, so it doesn't fall or whatever. And once I'm done with it, I just undo those latches, swing it back around, and stow it away, and then I have a flat surface again. I just put these, there's metal rods with big washers in there, and it took a bit of measuring to figure out how to get it to where it's perfectly level, but measuring tape and a little bit of planning, and it's not too hard to do. And then finally on this side is the router. I bought this routing fence and can't remember what they call these routing plates, and I can move these and adjust them on the T-track wherever they need to be. And I have underneath just mounted my router down there, and I actually wired up a stop switch because on the table saw I have one of these on the front. It's nice just to be able to hit it with your knee. So I bought a stop switch and a power cord and just wired it up to where I can, when I've done routing, I can just bump this with my knee and it'll stop without me having to reach under the table and try and find the power switch. These are pretty nice. I mean, it's just like any routing table. Has these feather boards that'll keep it from kicking back. You can move this and put in any kind of routing bit, anything you want in here. The only thing I don't love is I have to go under the table to raise and lower the router bit right now. I think there is a tool in one of these holes that would work if I put it down in and turn it, but I haven't made it that far yet. But yeah. And finally, just in terms of storage, I kind of put it wherever it would fit. I've got some crates down here. I put a pegboard on this side with kind of any other type of woodworking stuff I would need. And then some clamps, just kind of hang them right there. And then some more crates on the end here. And then as far as moving it, I use these really heavy duty casters that allow you to basically when I flip that up, it raises the wheel off the ground, and it'll lower the table so that it's sitting on the cement and it's a nice stable table. And then when I need to move it back into the garage, I just step on those, push them down, it puts it back on the wheel, and I can wheel it back into the garage. And then I think the last thing is just the materials I used. Really, I just used basic lumber, 2x4s. On the top is just a piece of sanded plywood. I did stain it because I just wanted it to be a little bit more durable. And then on the top, I used Halcyon boat acrylic, I think it is, and just to give it a nice hard polished surface. I'm not going to be beating on the surface, but it can take a beating, I think, with that stuff. It's pretty strong stuff, but I just wanted to make sure it was as durable as possible. And then the T-track I just got off of Amazon, or maybe I got it from Rockler, I can't remember, but it works really well. It's easy to cut and put in. If there's one thing I could do differently about the table, it would be to be a little bit more careful with routing those. I didn't use my good router. I actually used a different router that's battery powered for that, and it just wasn't the best router. And some of the valleys got a little bit deep and so I had to build them up. It was just a little bit of a pain. So if you're going to do this, I would just recommend spending a lot of extra time on the T-track and getting that right, because coming back and trying to fix it is kind of a pain in the butt. So I would do that differently. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. No, I don't think I would do anything else majorly different. I mean, after all, it's just a workbench, so there are a lot of little mistakes that you probably can't see on the surface, but I can see them. But it is just a workbench, and it does the job. So anyways, that's it. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thanks.